I knew this day was coming. And it's time we had a chat, everyone. This is probably going to be one of the more important videos I make. It is a super big public service announcement for everyone in the Bakugan community. And I feel like as one of the bigger Bakugan YouTube channels right now, it's important that I use my platform for the betterment of all. So we're going to talk about recasts and scamming today, and what that looks like, and what that means for the future of Bakugan collecting. So I decided to make this video because I had seen multiple things online about some recasts being made and sold as the real product. I had multiple people messaging me saying, hey, like, you might want to be on the lookout for this. And as it sort of built up, I was like, okay, maybe there is definitely something worth looking into. So I wanted to preface this video with one I made a year ago. I posted it on the community tab. You can also search it up, but it's just custom made Bakugan. We can now make these. And in this video right here, which I'll go to really quickly. So in this video, I essentially talk about something that had been going on in the community last year. I feel like it's 2 years ago, maybe it's not. Basically, what was happening is there were these resin-casted clear hydronoids, and this is a Helios there, but mainly it was the hydronoid, and these were kind of everywhere. There was 2 or 3 of them out in the wild. Here's another example, and this one clearly states it's a mold, so it's okay. The issue is that on eBay there was a specific seller selling one of these clear recasts as real, and everyone was trying to get it taken down, and it eventually got sold privately through a private message for $500, and it was clearly fake. And that sucks, because that person probably thought they got a, prototype hydronoid for $500. It's like, yes, that's such a good deal, but in reality, it was probably 99% fake, completely remade. And then there's another one, just another example made by, this was Game Over Entertainment. They posted one. It says custom made hydronoid. It's the same thing. And what sucks is in that listing, the Bakugan looked exactly like this and still sold as real. So now, if you've been living under a rock, now Bakugan we've gotten to 3D printing. We've gotten some awesome recasts. It's really blowing up, and it's a good thing. And I want to highlight that before I get into the bad part. So for instance, there is this really cool Helios Mark II recast on eBay right now, which looks really, really awesome. I mean, that's just incredible, right? There it is again. Like, it looks so real. It's got the magnet guard and everything. And I'm keeping everyone anonymous in this, so you won't find the seller. You can look it up if you want on your own. But this is what the listing looks like. It says Bakugan Translucent Helios Mark II Anime Accurate-ish Color Recast. So I'm really glad that they included recast in there, obviously. I think that's probably the most important thing here. But yeah, it's super cool that we can do this now. If you're looking for a Helios and this is more in your price range, awesome. And I want to also say, like, as the people who make these recasts, if you're the artist, you're totally entitled and you're allowed to sell them for whatever you want. So, for instance, if you think that this is too much for a recast, it's really up to the artist. If they put the time, the money, and the effort into making the recast, they should be allowed to sell it for whatever they want. That being said, this is not made by Spin Master or Sega. This is made by someone else. So just keep that in mind, that this is not associated with Bakugan at all. It's a recast. And there's a couple more. So, like, there's this one really cool that I saw in my Discord the other day, someone posted, and it's a green Percival, which is super cool. And Percival, to me, like, especially Night Percival, is a very, very difficult one to make, and so that we can just make these intricate parts, super, super cool. So the issue starts coming where we're getting these people making recasts and then selling them as real. And so Game Over Entertainment posted something about Lanzato a couple of days ago now. It might have been a week ago now. And I looked into it. I also got someone else messaging me about it. And I decided to like really look into it. And so here is the first example that I want to show. This is on a Chinese app named Goofish, I think. You can't really get it on the web. You have to have the app. And what you're seeing here is a screenshot that I then translated into English for my own benefit. And then I also translated the money amount into US dollars for myself, so that I'm able to understand it. And maybe anyone in the US watching will also be able to understand it. But essentially, this is what it is. And these are the Lanzado that's listed. So anyways, this was listed for 2,400 yuan. I believe that's how I'm pronouncing that. It's the Chinese currency. And then this is it in US dollars. So 330 US dollars for one of these. And they're custom made. And I can get into evidence about that. I also have my own Lanzado right here that I'm looking at. And I mean, you can tell some of the differences, but it's like surprisingly accurate. And so I'll show it to you right here if I can. I'll even try and get the position the same. But you can see that it is like, aside from the symbol and the DNA code, it's almost indistinguishable, which is scary. Like you cannot really tell. And so for someone, like if you saw this on eBay, and you saw it listed for $330 or whatever, you'd probably jump on that pretty quick. And I would hope you'd fact check it and look at references before you bought. But I mean, sometimes the adrenaline kicks in and you've bought it. And so this same person, the same seller, has this listed, which is the exact same thing. You can see down at the bottom where they were like working on it. So I don't really know what's going on there, but it's like, in all these images, you can very clearly see, and I have more, you can very clearly see they were working on them. And it says again, this one is for 150 yuan, and it's translated to $20, which I'm like, wow, if I could get a Lanzado for $20, like, heck yeah, I'd be all over that. Yeah, so I don't really know what the difference in the price was there. I'm not 100% sure why they have two listed but different prices. But it even says, you know, Sega Bakugan, Night Weapon, Gun Shield Color, Transparent Color, and this is translated, so it might not be accurate. Really interesting. My final one for you guys is, at least for the Lanzados, is right here. And again, this one had a watermark on it. I don't feel comfortable showing the seller's information because I don't really want to give anything away. If you want to go dig for this yourself, sure. But I'm trying to keep everything as sort of unbiased as possible. But this is a clear resin cast of the Lanzado, and as you can see, I mean, the evidence is right there. Like, these are clearly recasts. There's not much room for argument there. We have the ability to make these now. Fantastic. So the issue comes in, are they worth $330 or are they worth $20? Super hard to determine here. Here is another one that I found. It's sort of like a Prisma Mercury Dragonoid with extra pieces. It looks cool, like I'll admit, it looks cool. I don't know the price of this one, I didn't check, but really cool Bakugan. Here's another look at the Lanzado with 120 Gs. You can kind of tell that's a little, the font for that's a little off. I'm not 100% sure if this is real or a recast. It just looks so good you can't tell, which is the scariest part. There's also these, which I believe are, I believe these are cross pieces or soul pieces, and there's more on the listing of like gold ones and silver ones and stuff. So that's cool. Like if you've lost a piece for your Bakutech, you can actually get one made. But again, like they're made of, I believe this is resin, and like boom, we've got them now. Mutant Helios is with all the spare parts. I'm pretty sure these are recasts. There's no way there's too many things being made here to not say, oh yeah, these are not recasts, right? And then there's also this one right here, which you can tell by the coloring of these. These are a bit darker and stuff. But like I have, like through my 3 or 4 years now of collecting Bakugan, like these have 100% popped up on eBay. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. Like, there are certain colors of these. Like, this one specifically, I have 100% seen on eBay, at least this coloring. I don't know if this seller put it on eBay, but I know this coloring was on there. I might even be able to find it. Let's see. All right. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything, which is probably a good thing. But it just goes to show, like, I have definitely seen that before. And this leads me to all this rambling, all this talk is, I think a lot of the community, at least people I've talked to, are scared that these recasts, which are very realistic, unless you know exactly what you're looking for, are going to appear in the market as real. If you guys are starting to see these really rare Bakugan popping up, they're most likely recasts, especially Mectanium Surge. Any of the Mectanium Surge stuff, I am 100% positive are recasts. The biggest evidence is Chaos Crowl. So I've been watching for a Chaos Crowl just casually as I've started to learn about this for a while now, and it seems like a Chaos Crowl will pop up, you know, 1 or 2 of them every month or so, and you gotta wonder if they're real, and you gotta wonder if they're like the legit Bakugan. And so I have this image here of this Crowl, and I spent a lot of time looking at it. It's being sold for almost $3,000 US. And right away, there are just some issues. So on every Crowl, I went on the wiki and compared everything. On every Crowl, it doesn't matter what attribute, the G power is always right here. Like every single time without fail. Now there could be some where the G power is different, but from the pictures I saw, they're always right here. Now the symbol is always right here. This one does not have an attribute symbol, which is kind of weird to me, and you can see it in the rest of the photos down at the bottom. There is no attribute, which is kind of alarming. So I've even pulled up one for myself, and like, yes, there's some lighting things, but what comes down to it is the symbol is not there on the correct side. You can see the G power at the bottom there, and the silvering just feels off. Like that, the silvering on this, it doesn't look the same as the one I'm looking at on the wiki at all. The one on the wiki is definitely more, I guess, powdery is the word. And again, lighting plays into this some, but it looks more powdery, whereas this one looks more metallic and like painted. Like this looks like a brush or something like that. Interesting to note that the Crowl I'm looking at is missing some of the paint at the very tip, which would make sense because it's a very hard spot to hit. This one's got it completely filled in. I've seen many Bakugan where they have like their corners missed because of how the factory paints them and stuff. This one's also got a more rounded place for nano at the top. This one doesn't. It's kind of hard to tell in the picture, so I'm not going to jump on that too much or hark on it, but there's just a lot of small details. It's like, I'm not sure this is a legit Chaos Crowl, and it's not worth $3,000 almost. And so that's what I'm getting at, is there's stuff like this going around that makes me very skeptical. And the whole reason for this video is recasts are coming. They're going to be 3D printed Bakugan. They're all coming. They're going to be in the market. It's great for artists, and I think it's a great way for people to make money. But what we need to be aware of is that there are going to be people who try and abuse this and sell these, you know, custom-made recast Bakugan as real Bakugan and try and make a lot of money off the rare ones. So Mutant Helios, Crowl, certain Dragonoids, certain colorings, Knight Percival with different colorings, especially the translucent Darkest Knight Percival. All of those are probably going to be, you know, recasted and look very real and be sold for very high prices. And I won't be surprised if I see some in the very near future. But that being said, that's all I had. Be careful out there, you know, make sure that what you're buying is, you know, real. If you want a real one, if you'd rather have a recast, that's totally up to you. I know that there are many different types of collectors out there, and so some people don't care as much about recasts. Personally, I think that they're great if you want certain Bakugan that are very difficult to get. Awesome, but otherwise, you know, for those people who are looking for the real thing, you know, this is something they could run into. And so I think it's very important to address that. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. what are some things we can do to prevent this? Because right now we're good. Right now we're good. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen in the future. So, yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and of course, subscribe for more awesome content. My name is Jesse. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.